Firefighting equipment. All-purpose nozzle. It is attached to the end of the fire hose and is used to direct a solid stream of water, low or high velocity fog to the fire. The nozzle can be adjusted easily and quickly by the handle. It is a combination of a smooth bore and fog nozzle. It provides the maximum reach and penetration of a smooth bore, while still enabling the benefits of a fog stream at the same time or independently. This versatile type nozzle has the ability for a large flows at reduced pressures and is well suited for multiple applications. Fire hose. It can be attached to either a fire engine or a fire hydrant. Drying of fire hoses after use is very important because water that is left in a hose can cause deterioration. As a result, fire hoses have large structures designed to dry out the hoses. Fire hose is made up of double-jacketed, rubber-lined cotton in size of 1.5 inch, 2.5 inch, and 3.5 inch. The standard length is 50 feet. A 50-foot length is normally referred to as length. Fire hoses that have larger capacities carry more water at lower temperature. If the hose is of a smaller diameter, it will need higher pressure. The most important factor in determining the effectiveness of a fire hose is the diameter of the hose. Fire hoses are manufactured in the following configurations: single jacket, double jacket, rubber single jacket, hard rubber non-collapsing tires. Each type of fire hose is designed for a specific purpose. Parts of fire hose. First is hose hoist. It is a device which rope and hose may be pulled to hoist or lower equipment when firefighters are operating in buildings above the ground level. The hose hoist will protect your hose ladders while raising them and lowering them from the roof or through windows, over fence, or around many obstacles. It is very handy on steel anchor fences. Place it over the top of a fence and use it to roll the hose freely in either direction. This tool will keep your hose safe from snags and tearing as you move it to where you need it. Parts of fire hose. First, hose clamp. It is a tool to shut off the water in the hose lines when other control valves are not applicable. This is to allow replacement of a burst section of hose without shutting down the water supply. To prevent charging the hose bed during hose lay operations. To allow extension of a hose line without shutting down the water supply, and to allow the advancement of charged hose line upstairs. Next part of fire hose is hose jacket. It is used to seal small cuts or breaks which may occur in a fire hose or to connect damaged couplings of the same size. All jacketed hose begins with a rubber inner or tube. This is what holds the water in the hose. A jacket is simply a protective cover for the rubber tube and does not actually hold the water. The job of the jacket is to protect the inner rubber tube from wear or cuts that will cause it to leak. Next is the hose spanner wrench. It is used to tighten or loosen hose couplings, but this versatile tool can be used to close utility cocks, pry, and hammer. Fire hose spanner wrenches are designed to provide reliable and effective functionality. Next part of fire hose is fire hose rams and bridges. It is also known as hose rams. It helps to prevent injury to hose when a vehicle crosses it. This is used wherever a hose line crosses a street or other area where vehicular traffic cannot be diverted. Another part of fire hose is nozzle. Nozzle is a piece of firefighting equipment used to direct and control a stream of water. The fire nozzle is an important part of the firefighting system. The selection of the fire nozzle type to be used by the department should depend upon the tactics and performance required. Nozzles are designed to help to put out fires by getting the right amount of water in the right form in the right place. Nozzles have three main functions. First, control flow. Second, provide reach. And the third one, create shape. Control flow. The size of the orifice in the outlet of the nozzle controls the flow. Provide reach. The nozzle creates a restriction of the end of the waterway, which changes water pressure to velocity. When we say velocity, velocity provides the reach, which is necessary to get the water to where it is needed. Create shape. Different situations require different methods of applying water or foam. Some situations require the reach and penetration of a straight stream, while others require the heat absorption capability or radiant heat protection of wide-angle fog spray. Let us move on to the hose classification by constructions. First is the woven jacket. Second, rubber covered. Third, braided hose. And the last one is the wrapped hose. Some of the major fibers used in the construction of the outer jacket of the fire hose are cotton, nylon, rayon, vinyl, and polyester fibers. Let us talk about the importance of hose jacket. That is to prevent damages. The exposure of hose excessive heat or its contact with the fire will char, melt, or weaken the fabric and dry the rubber lining. A similar drying effect may occur to interlinings when hose is hung in a drying tower for a long period of time in high temperatures. In order to prevent this damage, firefighters should conform to the following recommended practices. First, you need to protect your hose from excessive heat or fire when possible. Second, do not allow the hose to remain in any heated area after it is dry. Use moderate temperature for drying. A current of warm air is much better than hot air. Keep the outside woven jacket of the hose dry. And hose that has not been used for some time should have water run through it to prolong its life. It is not a good practice to dry the fire hose on a hot pavement. Prevention of hose damage against mildew and mold. A superficial, usually whitish growth produced especially on organic matter or living plants by fungi. So what are you going to do? First, remove all wet hose from the apparatus after a fire and replace it with dry hose. If hose has not been removed from the apparatus during a period of 30 days, it should be removed, inspected, swept, and reloaded. Some fire hose has been chemically treated to resist mildew and mold, but such treatment is not always 100% effective. Regardless of this hose, it must be exercised every 30 days and water run through it every 90 days. The purpose is to prevent drying and cracking of the rubber lining. Next is prevention against chemical contacts. First, thoroughly scrub and brush all traces of acid contacts with a solution of bicarbonate of soda and water. The soda will neutralize the acid. Second, guard against spilling gasoline on hose when filling the fuel tanks. Next, remove the hose from apparatus periodically, wash it with plain water and dry thoroughly. If the least suspicion of injury exists, the hose should be properly tested. Avoid laying hose in the gutter or where automobile have parked next to the curb because parked cars dip oil from the mechanical components and acid from the battery. Then run-off water from the fire may also carry various foreign materials that can damage fire hose. Thank you. That ends our presentation. Part 3 will be posted soon. God bless.